Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for December 18th through 21st. Wow, here we are. It's showtime, whatever that means. It's amazing, this astrology. Every planet is involved in this story. Just all hands on deck. It's an epic moment of transition. And so let's look at what they're saying to us about this time. We can feel a big shift happening. We are getting the message, where this whole year was kind of like, are you ready? Can you change your vibration? Can you drop your old stories? Can you do this? And now it's kind of like, it's a little late to try to do it right and figure it out. And, and this is exactly the energy that's shifting for us because, this epic Saturn Jupiter conjunction that it happens every 20 years, but it's been 600 years since they've been this close. And it also has a huge more significance because it's changing its triplicity, right? From it's been in earth signs for these last couple hundred years, and now it's going to air signs. And we have both of those happening, right? So they're together right now, exact in Capricorn, and then together they move over less than a degree apart, between 0 and 1 Aquarius. Together they move over this threshold. It's the beginning of a new age. So there's an interesting energy coming forward around, because the whole thing's flavored. So we've got these big planets, they go out and do these things, and we don't necessarily feel them right away, or we feel them more when our personal planets are involved. And so we've got to look to the personal planets right now to get a picture to try to understand what's going on. And Mercury and the Sun are together on the Galactic Center. We're going to feel this. They stay together until Christmas Day, but this is today, tomorrow, and into the solstice. This Sun Mercury Galactic Center. The sun is like, who do you think you are? Like, what is your true light you want to shine? In this lifetime, in this experience, and then the Mercury is our mind, our conceptual reality, and that's been very challenged lately. Not that Sun Mercury on the Galactic Center won't challenge it even more. That definitely, there's the energy of Galactic Center has a huge magnetic pull. It's an expansion energy. And so it's kind of like the mind is getting challenged in its reality, right? At least for those of us that are paying attention. And so the Sun and Mercury on the Galactic Center are saying, this is about your quest, your destiny, your spiritual purpose. That's what this time is about. That's what this conjunction's about. The solstice is about. The eclipse was on the Galactic Center. And so that's a really interesting energy as we look at these planets. So when we look at Saturn and Jupiter conjunction and how they're changing their triad of going from Earth, always happening in Earth signs, now always happening in air signs, it brings to mind this energy that might be helpful, I think, in understanding. Again, we don't get to understand exactly what's happening, but with Neptune square the nodes, we're being asked to adjust in a major way, a major spiritual adjustment. And that's got to bring, if you're going to go through, think about times in your life where you've gone through big changes and you have to give up control at some point, because it's like, oh, this is bigger than me. I can't figure it out. And we're on this is what's happening on an epic scale right now. And so not knowing what's happening and being totally lost and confused means you're doing it right, because we're being asked to let go of everything that's not in alignment with a whole new paradigm. That's the Mars square Pluto energy. So the third and final Mars square Pluto, and Pluto is about breaking down the false, making room for the new. And it's about power, and it's about our fear of our power, and it's about our potential. It's that future unknown. It's really interesting. And so Mars square Pluto, Mars in its having had this very powerful retrograde this year, huge, huge. We don't even know what this is going to mean until the end of January, after the third and final square with Saturn and Jupiter. But now it's having its third and final square with Pluto. Now, this is crazy, okay, because it's happening from the 21st to the 23rd. It's exact. Mars square Pluto for the third and final time for this Mars retrograde. Mars going direct. The warrior is ready to rise again. And what is this warrior about? This warrior is about life force and light and I am and zest and vital force. And this is the question for us right now. Like, do you believe and believe that you deserve to live, right? Because we've been living, that this is like a false, fake, narcissistic veneer reality. And most people have like minimal, they're alive, their body is living, but they're in a death process and depressed and disconnected from God and source. And this is not our natural state. And so Mars the warrior, so here we have Mars the warrior, just like life. And this is what's going on for you souls that are leading the way, supernova souls. It's like, this frustration, this Mars direct, the spiritual warrior of like, you know what, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. Like if I'm going to be on this planet, some shit's going to work for me, and that's the paradigm shift. And can you receive it? Can you go from, because the paradigm's been about working against the light and towards materialism. And so, but it's like I can feel supernova souls being like, I can't do this half-ass shit anymore. Like, I want to live, and have what I need to live and do what I'm here to do, and you've been just making it through lifetime after lifetime in an energy of lack, working against the light, attacking the light, and you keep showing up. You keep showing up for humanity after all you've been through. And now it's time to live again. This is the goal. And it's like, I can feel supernova souls being like, that timeline, forced vax and control over your whole life. I know, like, I will live. I'm going to live. I'm going to step up, claim back my power, my I am, my zest, my fire, my life, vital force, health, what you need to do your work here, support. And it's like, that is the new paradigm for us, but it's a very big shift from how we've been living, right? And so this righteous warrior is really important, right? Like this tide going out and the whole lack energy and depravity energy and isolation of this time of 2020, there is a purpose for you behind this to grab a hold of what's coming into your life and receive it in deep and profound gratitude. And this has maybe been your whole earth evolution, right? And it's like, so you can't receive without this massive gratitude for the shift. This is where we need to be. This is, this enlightenment, when you have those experiences, there's definitely enlightenment is a key word coming, and the lighten, right? Like enough of this pretending we're rocks, like, I mean, rocks have life too, right? But it's like, I don't know. But anyway, going back to this whole point I'm trying to make about this shift from the triad of Earth to the triad of air of this Jupiter Saturn conjunctions. And the metaphor that's coming to mind, and it goes right along with this taking back our life force and our life energy, living instead of dying. It's like, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, like if I have to live here and not live, I don't want to do that anymore. I will take what's mine now, right? So that's powerful energy. But I've been talking about this creative energy and how important the creative expression and the co-creation energy of like what we're moving into in this new paradigm. And that metaphor of like how we've been so programmed in our creation to have it all be about a product, right? And are people going to like it? Will they buy it? Will it make me money? Is it worthy in this world? And that is exactly the lie we've been stuck in, that the product is the wealth. And then it's like, you can't take that shit with you. It's never, ever going to satisfy you. What does satisfy you? The process of being like, involved in this co-creation and expression. When you're in, when you just are in a creative project, and this is the key energy right now. And so this is the shift that I'm seeing, because air is about expression. It's about vibration. It's about technology. It's about, but the arts and intellectual, like kind of taking things to a different level, out of the mundane, right? And so the metaphor, especially with this Mars activation we're getting right now, the metaphor is like, this is what we're moving out to. You know how your whole life has been about your product. You can only really put energy into what's going to make you money and pay your bills, and the product, and how many cars, and what do like what's your social status, and and now it's about expression and air and movement, right? And so it's about taking your life out of the goal-oriented, product, materialistic, where we've been forced to live, and putting it into the vibration of co-creation, that the experience of life. So this is where the magic comes in, when you're in that moment of creation and working on a project, and then you lose yourself in it, right? Your ego kind of goes out the door, the structurally lower ego. And then there's this beautiful place where mistakes, so-called mistakes, might come in, but you roll with it because you're co-creating, so you can't be too, if you're really in it, like you can't be too attached to what it's going to be, right? And this is exactly this change in our life right now that we're being asked to make, which might be helpful in this like very scary unknown feeling that's coming. It's like you're in the process of this, and you're so busy enjoying the process of living, right? Just entertain it for a minute, that you don't care what's around the corner, and you just know you trust in that outcome, because it's not about the outcome. It's about the experience of creation. So I don't know, just throw that one out there. And let's talk about this. We've got Sun and Mercury on the Galactic Center. So this whole thing, and the total solar eclipse on the Galactic Center, the whole thing is saying, this is your destiny. It's time to live your life your way. It's time to get back on your horse. It's time to live your spiritual truth and light, which has been like not supported on the planet, right? And now we have to go back to, we have to allow ourselves to be supported in the process of what we're here doing. And I can feel in supernova souls, that's all they will accept. And yet they're blocking it because they feel they don't deserve it. And yet it's all you're accept. So you're stuck. You are stuck in the corner because you can't go back to that old way. You can't go be what those people want you to be anymore. So what are you going to do? Right? And that's where we go to this place. This type of astrology is like, what is the point? What are we here for? What are we doing? And for you, supernova souls, it's about spiritual ascension and activation of your light body. That's what it's about. And everything's pushing you to that now. Everything good, everything bad, everything weird, everything right, everything wrong. You're here for this one thing. And the astrology is super supporting this for us. Now when we talk though about, the fact that the Galactic Center is not far away from the nodes of the moon, right? And the nodes of the moon are about our direction. Where are we going? What are we doing? How do we get to where we go? So that south node in Sagittarius with this Galactic Center activation is saying, when we go into that place of like, I want to live my life in the way, my true spiritual expression of why I'm here. I'm done playing these stupid games, right? But then there's this feeling like, yeah, but remember, you failed in your spiritual purpose before, these delusions, these old stories, which is is exactly what Pluto and Mars are trying to break down. The old stories, you can't fit those through the portal with you. They got to go, but we're attached to them. As much as we don't like them, and now this whole year is about realizing that those patterns aren't who we are, but we're still, it's like, can you cut out the disease without killing the organism? We're so attached to it. And it feels like we're dying without it, even though we want to get rid of it so bad, And so, but a lot of that hinges on this whole delusional energy that we failed in our mission and our purpose, and then we don't deserve to co-create. And I just see a really interesting energy coming through with all of this. And this shift, going back to Atlantean time, one of the messages in the past life, Atlantean lifetimes I've read, one of the pictures of the timeline reset that's available there, that maybe this will be part of the solstice soul group session. We'll see. But there's an energy of what was so beautiful. There was a group of souls that came, maybe they were aware of it, Lemuria, maybe it came and visited, but not really incarnated until Atlantean time, because you as soul groups came in together to work with the technological energies and advancement, spiritual technology, right? And so you were excited to come to the earth, and the Atlantean time, because of the high level of technology, had a beautiful support of everything you needed to do the work you were here to do was here. This is where we got off. This is where we got off track. This is the fall, the destruction. So there was like catastrophes, which were an off-planet weapon, as I've been shown again and again, but they were designed to keep these souls, these very, very bright starseed souls, from ever coming back into their technology. And it's interesting because it involved Earth and catastrophe and destruction. And it's like we're trapped under the rubble still. Because all the supernova soul wants, and all that this is astrology saying this is the next chapter, is this like, what would it be like for you to have what you need to do what you're here to do? And that was exactly the beautiful thing in Atlantis for these souls. They were like, like the structures were all set up. There was support from the government organizations for this research. It was like playland. These people were having so much fun working with geometry and plasma and crystals, and all about, these souls that I'm talking about, supernova souls, working with this technology for the betterment of humanity. It was about storing and producing electricity, and then also working with concepts of spiritual concepts of like levitation and things like that, So this is exactly what we're doing here. It's like we forgot that we know how to levitate. We forgot we're not stuck under the rubble. We forgot that we're like very advanced spiritual beings, and we got stuck under the rubble. We got disconnected, And so it's like by going back and healing, because there's a connection in the Aquarian age with Atlantis, because Aquarius rules technology. And so it just kind of fits, right? And it's like we've got to heal those distortions from Atlantean time and the Aquarian age of the Atlantean time. And the shift for you as supernova soul going forward from the solstice is about having what you need to do what you're here to do. I mean, it's a simple concept, but I can feel that. I'm feeling your body. Do you feel that? It's freaking not rocket science, but we're so blocked to receiving what we need to do here. And the universe is saying, you got to receive it now, And I think this is the Venus transits. Venus is now in Sagittarius, huge shift. So powerful, because the Sun and Mercury on the Galactic Center, now Venus and Sag. And Venus is now coming into a trine with Chiron. And Chiron is in Aries. And so it's speaking to this warrior energy of taking back our life force. It's like the Mars retrograde is so powerful because Chiron's in Aries, and it's really about releasing these souls from the wounds of being disconnected from your life force. Because really, like the technology that we're talking about, which is what's been kept from us. It all goes back to free energy. And that the concept of free energy is very connected to levitation. And so it's like this whole paradigm shift, and we know it's got to go that way. We can't go any further. We can't keep pretending that we need to use this oil under the ground. Might as well use it if it's in barrels, right? Until we get this transition going on. But it's like, we can't go on pretending that we don't have this technology, because as long as we don't know we have it, it's being used against us. And it's not levity, I'll tell you that. It's keeping us down in lower vibrational frequency. And there is elaborate mechanical, technological systems in place on this planet right now to block out the rays of the sun, to block out our activation, to block out these energies. But right now, Jupiter, Saturn coming together, the Christmas star in the night sky, closest than they've been in 600 years. It's like, a paradigm ain't gonna fly, And so you have to allow your vibration to reset to this energy of having what you need to do here. And I can feel an Atlantean timeline reset in the solstice soul group session. So that'll be really cool. I hope you can make that. That's on Sunday, 12 hours before the actual solstice. And so Chiron, Venus and Sag and trine to Chiron is a harmonious energy, like Chiron, deep, deep wounds about being disconnected from your power. That's what you were working with in Atlantean time. It wasn't external technology. It all goes back to life force. That's the only energy in the universe. It's electricity, it's sexuality, it's Kundalini, it's free energy. It's all the same. And that's this Aries energy is like, are you going to, because how can we be upset about them using our power to create the lower matrix if we're not owning it? And isn't it perfect to have a catastrophe to make sure that you never own it again and you're scared of your power? This is the key to everything, So can you step over at this solstice into this new paradigm that says you have what you need now to do what you're here to do? It's time to get on with it. It's no longer serving your soul or the light or your spiritual gifts and who you are as a spiritual being to struggle against the dark and the lower and the materialistic energies, right? It's time to step into your power, your gifts, and that. So this timeline reset of like, whoa, what would it feel like? It's almost like, could I really receive that? Like if things start to show up, like my soul group, a big part of what you need to do, the biggest block for the supernova souls is that what you need to do here, what you need to do the work here you want to do is your group, right? And then if one of us is that powerful that could be dangerous, then two of us is going to be way more. Can we handle it? And maybe that's this big breakthrough energy of this solstice. It's like, well, whether you can or can't, here it comes. Are you ready for the pulses? So what a great lining up. So Sun, Mercury on the Galactic Center together. And then that means they're also going to move over to Capricorn together. It's like a new conception of authority in our reality for this new age. Now we've got Mars square Pluto, third and final, Mars in Aries, Pluto in Capricorn, breaking down all that's old, breaking down the ego constructs, breaking down all that's false. There's definitely one of the key words that is not that comfortable but it's for this time that's coming through as a message is a clean slate. So that's interesting. And that's definitely Mars square Pluto for the third and final time. The third and final transit is when you get the gift of the transit. You get the message of the transit. And so it's very powerful because it's got endings and beginnings. Mars rules Aries and Pluto's about breaking down the old, and it's like beginnings and endings. Like every planet is on board here with this story. So we've got Sun, Mercury, Mars, Venus, and trine to Chiron, Mars square Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn conjunction. Oh, that little thing, right? We got the Christmas star and this epic transition going on. Now it's interesting because the Star of Bethlehem, the Christmas star that was said to portend the birth of Jesus, the beginning of the birth of Christ consciousness in form on the earth, right? Now what we're doing is we're bringing that Christ consciousness into a field by us holding that vibration or receiving it back, and then it's a field that's available to other people. This is a mantle of Christ being dropped on the planet, this, the solstice energy. And, are you going to take that mantle up? Which is interesting because that really relates to like how much time and energy you spent in this lifetime and in your previous lifetimes to struggle to survive, constantly trying to protect yourself is who you are, And with the mantle of Christ consciousness, that shit's all going away, right? I mean, you're just walking in the bubble of light. And that whatever's remnant out there after this shift of like control energy, I think we're, we're dissolving the whole paradigm, but it would just bounce off. We do have a 3-year transitionary period here. Because when Pluto goes over into Aquarius and these planets come back into sextile. So I kind of feel like we're going to be existing in 2 different timelines near each other. So the souls from that other timeline can still jump over for 3 years. We're like, but we have to go now. It's like, it's life or death for the supernova soul. Like, I can't do it anymore. I can't stay in the death vibe. It's like, you're exhausted. You've just been like, just dealing with karma and you just all this stuff, the collective energies, the recycling and garbage collecting of collective energies. It's like your soul's just like, you can't do this anymore. This, like it. And isn't that any time we go make a change, say in a relationship or in a job, it's got to get that uncomfortable place. And that's where we are with the lower matrix. Like, can't do it anymore. Like, it's death to me. I can't do it. And that's because new life is coming. Real life. Are you ready to get to real life? All right. So, and it's interesting because we've had a whole year of like our life being taken from us. And right now we're at this point where the regular person it's like, it's really getting obvious that this is not about, a scary disease. It's about control and domination, and it's a very strange time right now, that puking time when you have to face truths that you don't want to face. But isn't that what happens to get you to turn that corner in your life, to make those big changes? You got to get to that point where you're like, I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take it. And this is where we're at. This is the other energy that's happening. It's like, can you cherish and honor and value yourself enough to make this leap? Leave behind whoever you need to leave behind. And whatever's going on here, like it has to get uncomfortable enough or we will never make the leap. And you have to get lonely enough before you'll let that lover come in. And you got to get, beat up enough in that situation that's not honoring you as a spiritual being before you're going to make a shift out of it. And this is the time. So the other thing with this, the fact that Jupiter and Saturn are at 0 degrees, it's that Fool point. It's this 0 point. It's totally the Fool card in Tarot. I meant to pull it out because it's just so on the table, but this 0 point energy of like, going deep into that place of outside of duality consciousness. I feel like that's what's going to be happening to us during this shift, whatever's happening on the solstice. It's like pulled out into into the point of light. And then how can you go on living a fake mundane reality after that, after your mind is blown? And this is available, for whoever can receive. And you're built for this. You came for this. You've been waiting and waiting for this. So it's not like you're not going to receive it. But there's a lot of this letting go, 0 point, the point of no return, the leap off the cliff, that place where you're so in the co-creation that you completely trust what's around the corner. And massive mystical spiritual revelation connecting to our I am bigger. So everything about this astrology is about now your life has to be about who you really are. This bigger spiritual self is landing home. That's a new destiny. That's a new plan. That's a new marching orders, new, totally old, put those scrolls and books away and the records, of those other chapters. It's like new path going forward. What you need is here to do the work you're here to do. It's unfolding and beautifully in front of you as you walk in this mantle of light that grows with every person that comes, finds each other in these groups, growing this mantle of Christ consciousness. And, but it's a new story, right? Like, so this is kind of the argument against that, like, well, I feel that I failed in my mission, and this deep subconscious, and, this is a deep subconscious, low self-worth and the supernova soul of like, oh, I didn't do what I was here to do. And now I can't work with God. I can't co-create. Nothing's working for me. Everything's working against me, bah humbug, right? It's like where we've all been kept for so long. And this is saying, okay, so just whatever, you failed in your purpose. You didn't. We know you didn't, because here we are, we made it, right? But still, put all those stories away, because this is a new plan, a new destiny, a new spiritual purpose for the new age. It's a new start, clean slate, rebirth. And it's a rebirth of this bigger spiritual self landing like magnetically, just boom, dropped into your body. And that's a whole new plan. It's a whole new set of circumstances. It's a whole new, I don't know. I'm seeing lots of changes for people in their material life, how they are living their life, just maybe location, job, just things changing up. We got to go find each other. And so no wonder you don't know what's going on and where you're going, and you can't plan for the future because you're not here yet. And it's like these shooting stars, falling to the earth and activating and coming into. It's interesting because I came across, a story of like, there's this talk of a walk-in soul, right? Where a soul comes in and they shift positions. They trade, right? So there's a soul in a body, kind of has another thing it wants to go do, and this other soul comes and takes the body, and it's a walk-in. Like the soul's fully conscious that they're just coming into this body and not going through the whole birth process and everything. But this is different because who you are now is a part of your bigger self, right? So you're not replacing anything except for the old constructs that don't fit where we're going. But it's like it's emerging with who you really are in this bigger self. And but the message in the stars is like, it's a whole new plan. So let go of all of those failure energies. And, this feeling of like, part of the Capricorn energy is about accomplishment, right? It's very, very awesome at hard work and just keep just step by step, just the mountain going up that mountain, accomplishing major things. But if everything you've been accomplishing is like in the product place, right, of something you're trying to create because of something else, so that you have it created, so that you make money at it, so that whatever, then there's an energy of like, who am I without that? And this is this shift from Capricorn to Aquarius energy. It's like, you've spent lifetimes working on this temple, and now it's like, it doesn't quite fit the landscape or whatever. And can you walk away from that because the new is it's calling you and it's already built? You don't have to build it. I mean, we're building, but we're building in vibration and frequency, not brick by brick. So, Anyway, Venus is also, so when we talk about this, Neptune is involved because it's in square to the nodes, and the nodes of the moon activated by this eclipse season and by the Galactic Center activations. And so the nodes are like, how are you going to get to where you're going? Interesting, the North Node is in Gemini, which is vibration, communication, the air element, arts and expression, and speaking your truth, messages, leadership. And so we're having this activation into this other energy. And then, of course, the South Node, Sag, we've already talked about what's holding us back. And then square to these is Neptune. And they're coming into an exact square here. And they've been very close for a while. And Neptune in square to the nodes is like, okay, first of all, they're mutable squares. They're in mutable signs. And mutable signs are about adjusting and changing and shifting. And then Neptune and Pisces is spiritual adjustment. It's a spiritual awakening. It's out of the nightmare and into the dream if you can. If you want to stay in the nightmare, I guess that can be available for you, right? But we know we're here to step into the dream. Now, it's interesting in T-squares because it's like, oh, all three of the elements of that mutable are represented. And then it's almost like a vacuum energy is created in the fourth corner, and that's Virgo. And that's interesting because Virgo, the Virgin, cleaning it up, so much about what we're doing here. So our adjustment, the adjustment that we need to make to get going in the right direction, our new spiritual is like, we got to clean it up. Now, that's really interesting, too, because Venus is in trine to Chiron, but also coming into a in conjunct with Uranus. In conjunct, that means directly across and one sign over, and it's like an adjustment that needs to be made. And so Uranus and Taurus, the new relationship to materialistic energies, the new relationship to form and physical wealth and self-worth. Venus right here in this powerful early degrees of Sagittarius, it's saying that the self-worth is really how we allow this shift to happen, is a massive shift in self-worth, which is that the value that you've had as a spiritual being has not been valued in this world, right? Because it's energy. It's not a product like the materialistic agenda. And so this is we need a new value system. And this new value system of this new paradigm, you got the gold. You have the gold. And so how can you move forward with low self-worth? You've got to honor. And that's how you get back on your spiritual quest, is by a shift in your self-worth that goes right along with the shift of our whole paradigm and our whole relationship to the material. Because I'm telling you, free energy is like, boom, that it's like there's no more price to pay for the energy you need to survive. It's a total game changer. And it's interesting because I don't know, like there's all this activity going on and we don't know what's really happening. There's definitely rumbles of military activity. Of course, they're delivering the vaccine. There's threats to our infrastructure, saying that maybe we are being attacked and through cyber attack and things like that. And I kind of have this picture of what's maybe, I don't know. Again, I don't do future and predictions, but it's almost like, what if part of what's happening is the installation of free energy? And then it's like, go ahead, take down our grid because we got free energy now, And we know that technology exists and we know that the people at the top know about it. And it's only a matter of time. And wouldn't that be a great way to circumvent an attack on our electrical grid, right? Let's just get rid of the grid. We use it with transitionary phase, But anyway, just throwing that out there. And all of this does have to do with free energy. And in a world of free energy, you have the wealth because you know how to work with these vibrational frequencies. This is our new healing. This is our whole world is frequency, And that's what's controlling us, keeping us in lower vibrations, keeping us down in the muck, keeping our crown chakra blocked from finding that joy of our natural state of joy and spiritual activation, So powerful. Now, okay, so we've got all the planets are involved. We've talked through them. And then Black Moon Lilith is coming into a conjunction with Uranus. And this is this thing. Like, I could sit here all day and talk about this stuff because it's so fascinating what's happening. And it's right now, it's right here in these next couple of days. And Black Moon Lilith is in conjunction with Uranus, or Uranus, Black Moon Lilith is like a spot in the sky, right? And it's a moon's apogee. It's like the furthest away that the moon gets. And so it's about deep, dark secrets and what's hidden. And so the new wealth, Uranus and Taurus, which is talking about a new revolutionary paradigm around wealth and our relationship to physical form, means getting rid of old secrets. It's exactly what's happening right now. You know, like, how can we go on in the new unless we clean up the old? And the old has yet to be revealed. And there's like a dam that's about ready to break with information that's going to make most people want to puke. And to face how we've been so lied to and so controlled and so manipulated, and what our taxpayer dollars have created and our hard work has created. And it's like, we're not feeding that monster anymore. This is this Aries warrior, right? Our life force, our power, our money, we get to say where it goes now. We, the people, have the power. We just forgot. And it goes right along with the whole concept of free energy. So Black Moon Lilith and Uranus are in conjunction from the 21st to the 23rd. Also, Jupiter and Saturn and their exact conjunction, 21st to the 23rd. Mars square Pluto, exact square from the 21st to the 23rd. And when you write those out, you get 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3, is it like we're done with the countdown and now it's time for the count up? You know? Because listen to this. Now, I was just fascinated by looking at the fact that when this great conjunction happened before, at the time of Christ, at the hearkening of the birth of Jesus and the Christ consciousness on the planet, it happened at the shift from water to fire, which happens Pisces when these the triad of the Saturn Jupiter conjunctions happen over time. When it goes from water to fire, it's from the fishes to the ram, from Pisces to fire. And that's where that biblical Christmas star happened in both signs. And so the same type of transition we're having now, we're going from earth to air, and this was from water to fire. So that transition is a very powerful point associated with the shift of ages, with Christ consciousness, with the spiritual evolution, revolution of what we're doing here. It's that vernal equinox point. You know, the Aries is the beginning of the zodiac, and the fish is a spiritual, a height of spirituality. So it's a rebirth in a whole new spiritual chapter, a new spiritual energy. And so that's called the greatest conjunction. We're having a greater conjunction where it goes from, in that triplicity, changes elements. But exactly 12 hours and 31 minutes after the solstice, the moon goes over that Aries point. And it's like 12 hours, 30 minutes. You got a 1, 2, 3. I don't know. I was like, okay, there's something about this with like too much decoding going on, you know, but it's like, so 1, 2, 3 says, let's go, right? Let's go. It's a new start. 1, 2, 3, whole new way, whole new direction. And so how powerful that the numerology of all of these transits. So the new wealth on the planetary, you know, our physical world, the revolution of the physical that Uranus and Taurus represents, is about getting rid of old secrets, uncovering, you know, you got to uncover the old secrets in order for this new wealth to be born. That's what we've been doing, right? karma cleansing, like clearing those old chapters, those old personality constructs, And so this is saying for the world here, this is what we got to do to move into the new paradigm of the Aquarian age, which is this new relationship to physical form, new relationship to wealth, totally new wealth in the supernova soul for your spiritual purpose, and your vibrational ability is your wealth, right? So, and then the solstice, of course, the exact of that time period of that shift of going to the end and coming back. And then Jupiter, Saturn together for those same 3 days. Mars square Pluto for the same 3 days. And the moon moving over the Aries point. Exactly 12 hours and 30 minutes later, which is 1, 2, 3. So here we go. It's showtime, whatever that means. Get your popcorn. Do your last minute things of like trying to stay in absolute meditation 24/7. Just like I am the light and the way, I am this. This is what I came for. I'm here. I'm doing this. I say yes. This is what you need to do now. Clean slate, let go, 0 point. I've been clinging to these constructs of psychological structures because I'm scared that there's nothing else to catch me. And now the galactic winds are coming to catch you. The angels are coming to catch you. It's time to feel supported and held in this experience. And this is the big test of that for you. And maybe that's what this is about. Oh, okay. I got to have this total trust of the fool. He's packed his bags light. He's got his animal companion, this unconditional love and instinctual nature, and he's ready to go even if there's a cliff and he doesn't know what's going to catch him. And but going through that, what confidence it gives you to live in that whole new paradigm where you're in the experience of co-creation, and it's not about the product. It's, and so you're not so concerned about what's around the corner and how do you manifest it. There's this whole thing of the manifesting law of attraction. It's really, you can get caught in the weeds there, because our whole problem is that we've been playing God, thinking that our ego, thinking that we have, it's up to us, to figure this out and fix it and all that. That's a South Node Sagittarius. It's like, bam, just like a big flash of light. And it's like, oh, you thought you were in charge, right? You thought you had, and of course we do by our vibration and in that co-creation energy. But ultimately, our little ego construct of who we think we've been is not in charge. Actually has no connection to, And so how do we shift out of that ego construct that we're all clinging to, feeling like if we cut it out, then we might lose our whole organism. This is this Aries energy. It's like requiring a death and rebirth. Pluto, death and rebirth, and so it's intense, but we have to separate from those old. And maybe this is this flash of enlightenment that we need in our life to be able to do that and step forward on the new path with a greater trust. And making room, what if this whole letting go thing is really about making room for that bigger self to come in that does have a connection to the greater plan, and can just live in that place of co-creation and trust and out the unfolding, and everything you need is there, And what does that feel like? Could you let yourself feel that way? Could you let yourself live in that world where what you need comes? Maybe this is part of this deep woundedness for the supernova soul, feeling like you got off your mission and purpose because everything's working against it. And you were failed to overcome. And now, right now, this is where we overcome. We overcome all of the dark agendas. We overcome all the lies. We overcome all the old secrets, all the first false personality constructs. And you got to set your course, set your vibration of being able to receive that feeling of an energy of what you need, instead of nothing you need and everything working against you. You know, like the energy is working with you. Maybe it's that mantle of the Christ consciousness. And like in that mantle is those pathways of light where you can find what you need. We've been so blocked from each other and so blocked from, you know, these dynamic connections that are going to grow this light, and it's opening up again now. And so can you let yourself live in that vibration of what you need is there, you're cared for, you're loved, you're held, you know, it's a new chapter ahead and you're done with the old, and you're so done that you're ready to step out of that old skin and jump off the cliff. And we're here doing it together. So that's so great. So I hope you can join me for that solstice soul group session. And if you can't join or you can't be there at the exact time, don't worry. This is in the field. We're doing this. There's so many light workers doing this, that, and lots of people working on this that don't know they're even working on this. And that's a cool thing. When we come together in our supernova souls and the work you do, say at this solstice soul group session, or it's really a celebration, that's going to affect your soul group. You know, any of your soul group members that are asleep too and not really on board, and we have concentric soul group, you know, you have groups of souls that you're connected with, and then your true soul group that's really working on your, you know, the closest to you mission, purpose. And so all these soul groups can be affected by the work that you do, you know. So this, we show up, but then we're offering this picture to the collective consciousness and to our soul groups, and a beautiful, powerful gift. And, you know, why not be present for this one? I mean, a lot of people, so many souls are going to be present for this moment in time. You know, I don't know if I'll be getting any sleep that night, but wow. So I'm so glad we're here together. I'm so glad that you have been brave enough to open your mind and your psyche and get out of the box and be brave enough to face the gremlins and the demons, you know, and the fake, you know, all that's tried to scare us away from our spiritual evolution, and make it through all you've been through on the planet to be right here together. It's like, there's definitely probably the biggest energy I've ever felt of this gratitude towards you souls. Like, oh yeah, you're coming online. And it's such a cool energy to shift from what do I need to do and how do I need to prepare, and all the Capricorn energy of that, and the shift into like, you're fully prepared. You don't know, but part of you knows. You know. So anyway, I look forward to seeing you soon on that solstice soul group session, on the next update on the other side of this incredibly powerful portal. Let's hold hands and walk through together. So we'll see you there. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.